A debt ceiling deadline looms, and here's what it could mean for Social Security and Medicare. Folks, very important information here. Welcome back to the channel. Please give this video a like. Please subscribe. It says here that if debt ceiling negotiations are unsuccessful, the U.S. could default on its debt. Here's why so many worry that what could result is the Social Security and Medicare being delayed and proposals for cuts to the programs overall. The clock is ticking for the U.S. to avoid a default on its debt, and some are sounding the alarm about potential disruptions to Social Security and Medicare. Folks, please comment down below and let me know if anybody watching is going to be impacted or affected with any changes as a result to Social Security and or Medicare. I would appreciate it. On Thursday, January 19th, which is today, the U.S. outstanding debt is set to hit its statutory limit. And Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen wrote in a recent letter to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy saying that the debt limit or debt ceiling is the total amount of money the U.S. can borrow to meet its legal obligations, including Social Security and Medicare benefits, as well as military salaries, tax refunds, interest on the national debt, and other payments. Now, folks, when the limit is reached, the U.S. will have to take extraordinary measures to avoid defaulting on its obligations. This is according to Janet Yellen. Now, the Treasury Department cannot provide an estimate of how long the government can expect to pay the government's obligations through extraordinary measures, she wrote, but it is unlikely that cash will be exhausted before early June. We'll see. I'm sure there's millions and millions of American families that are relying on that actually being the case. However, negotiations over the federal debt ceiling mark one of the first big challenges the new Congress will face. And if this is affecting you or anyone you know, please share this video, because I want to bring you guys, according to the Motley Fool, 4 ways to supplement your Social Security income, which is of huge concern considering the likelihood that Social Security and Medicare could see some reductions because of this outstanding debt that the U.S. has, the debt ceiling being reached. As well as, even before that, we know that these funds are being exhausted. Higher prices across the board, inflation, we're in a recession. The Fed is pulling back or forcing businesses and families to pull back while prices are steadily rising. So I thought it would be a good idea to bring you guys some information. And according to the Motley Fool, it says that when your monthly benefit isn't going to support you, it's time to get creative. Now, I'm not just going to read this to you. I want to share with you what they suggest and also my opinions on these. And it says here that it's tough to work with insufficient resources. Like, if you agree, if you don't put enough gas in the car, you may have to walk home. If you don't drink enough water, you get dizzy and dehydrated. And if you don't have enough income, well, to cover your living expenses, then you could rack up expensive debt that constrains your cash flow even more. And that's similar to the situation that the U.S. is in right now with this strain on their debt limit. But folks, I do not advise or encourage anyone to use this time and this opportunity to increase your debt limit. You can touch on that more later. But it says that living on too little of an income is hard enough when you're working, but it's basically unsustainable in retirement. And that too many Americans are feeling this pressure. And studies confirm that many pre-retirees don't have enough savings to support a comfortable retirement. And while Social Security might help, most savers know it's not designed to be a sole source of income. And according to a survey from Schroeder Investment Management, 67% of respondents did not believe their monthly Social Security benefit would be enough to live on. And I would pretty much contest to that based on the comments that I've been receiving. You guys can see here what it says. I would contest to that because with the likely possibility that this debt ceiling, debt limit crisis could potentially force some adverse reactions when it comes to Social Security and Medicare, comments have been flowing in, stating that if that were to happen, that would wipe me out. Not to mention, we're not even going to get on food stamps and SNAP benefits. We're not going to get on that today because there have been reductions. Essentially, the end of February, beginning March, the pandemic boost to the supplemental food program is no more. but we can talk about that in another video. But I still think that a lot of these rules will apply. So number one on the list is savings distributions. Savings distributions. Now, obviously, in order for that to happen, it's pretty clear. You got to have savings. You got to have money and savings. And it says here that you might not have a huge savings balance, but you might not need one either. And financial experts say you'll need about 80% of your working income to maintain your lifestyle in retirement. Social Security benefits typically cover about 40% of your income, which means you're already halfway there. Some rough calculations can show if you have enough savings to cover the other 40%. If you guys want to know how to do these calculations, feel free, drop me a comment, let me know, contact me. And then ultimately this would be living off of the return of the dividends from the distributions from your savings. Now, granted, the higher the annual return, the higher the annual yield on the savings account, the better, as well as the higher the balance. But it all will be dependent upon how much Social Security that you could possibly receive, how much you have in savings, what are your living expenses, and etc., etc. Obviously, it kind of goes without saying, we would want to make sure that our expenses were as low as they possibly could, as well as our income as high as it possibly could. And this could be through a variety of ways of not just Social Security and not just the savings distributions. Let me know if you guys want to know more. Number two on the list is passive income, folks. Most of us will face health problems in our later years that affect our ability to work. That's why passive income is so appealing for retirees. The money just keeps rolling in no matter what. Now, typical sources of passive income include dividends, real estate and rental income, and business income. Unfortunately, these mostly require cash investments up front, which is the very thing you don't have. Now, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but it depends on the state of which you currently are. If you are preparing for this, well, good to know. If you're already in the situation, then yeah, this may not be your first choice as far as trying to supplement your income now. This is definitely a longer term play. And like I said, the sooner you start, the better. The longer you wait, kind of the worse off it gets. And at the same time, passive income comes from active income or active inputs. If you guys want to know more about that, again, contact me. But it says that unfortunately most of these require cash investments up front, and granted, a business venture that takes off could easily out earn a stock market investment. You also run the risk of losing all your money. So the greater the risk, potentially the greater reward. However, in my opinion, there are options out there that can produce sound, consistent, substantial, respectable rewards with very little risk, especially of a financial impact of risk, more so time, effort, and energy instead of dollars, okay? Which most people right now, probably if they had to choose, they would probably choose to invest their time rather than their money, because the money is what they lack most and what is flying out the door quickest from something as simple as, you know, taking a trip to the grocery store and trying to buy some eggs for, you know, the ridiculous amount of money that they charge for a dozen eggs. So with that being said, folks, if you guys want to know about the website that I told you about in a previous video, where you can input your criteria and see what kind of side hustles and income earning opportunities, diverse income earning opportunities exist out there that meet your criteria, I'll drop a link down in the description. Check it out. And then also, again, remember, these inputs can generate passive income streams. You just got to get them started. And if you guys want to go into great detail, just again, let me know. Now, it says here that some options include renting out a room in your home on Airbnb, renting your garage on Just Park, or renting your unused basement or attic as storage space on StoreMates. You could also start a blog or sell your photography to a stock photo website like Shutterstock. Again, these are things I've covered in previous videos. And number 3 on the list is part-time work. If you're comfortable working with technology, a remote part-time job could be the right option in your earlier retirement years. Try job sites like Flex Jobs and We Work Remotely for remote customer service roles, teaching and tutoring jobs, data entry positions, bookkeeping opportunities, and more. And you'll actually be surprised about how much knowledge and experience and wisdom that the older generations tend to have that is valuable and could be translate into revenue and income and dollars through sharing knowledge and experience. So folks, you know, part-time work isn't only clocking in and clocking out. These part-time work opportunities could lie in your own backyard, in your own home, in your kitchen, in your car, shoot, on your cell phone. Folks, you guys know I'm all about that. And I think the beauty of it now is that a lot of, in my opinion, new channels, new content creation opportunities are going to grow from the short form content under 60 seconds, ideally under 30 seconds, really under 15 seconds. But number 4 shows gig work. Number 4 shows gig work. A part-time job should provide a steady paycheck, but comes with the responsibility of working regular hours. So if you prefer to set your own schedule, you should supplement your retirement income with gig work instead. And by definition, gig work is flexible. You decide what projects to accept and you choose when to complete them. Not a bad idea. I think that we have to really expand on the opportunities that exist in gig work, because I think the most popular may be the most saturated, therefore perhaps maybe the least likely to produce the biggest returns. But at the same time, you can have multiple gigs and diversity in that and really double or triple dip or even more at the same time. It says here that Fiverr and Upwork are 2 popular gig work websites where you can promote your skills as a freelance writer, graphic designer, quality assurance specialist, accountant, computer programmer, and more. You could also outsource your skills as a handyman, mover, housekeeper, delivery service, or personal assistant, or TaskRabbit, or on TaskRabbit or Thumbtack. And I would say if anybody out there has any experience with freelance writing or copywriting, please hit me up. Now, get creative to generate income. This is what it says here. And it says that Social Security is your retirement safety net, but it does not get the job done by itself. If your savings don't fill the income gap, get creative about creating income and generating income, either through assets you already own or skills you have. It may not be the retirement you dreamed of, but it's better than skipping on a mortgage payment or reaching for credit cards when the budget doesn't balance. And the last thing you want to do is find yourself in a financial bind in your retirement years, digging yourself, or perhaps finding yourself dug into a hole, sinking in on you, and perhaps risking losing all that you've worked for in your entire life, specifically your home, by missing mortgage payments. This is not good. And we know that there's a ton of investors out there waiting on the sideline for distressed foreclosed properties to hit the market for them to scoop up, take ownership of, and then rent out for 2 to 3 times more than what the mortgage payment would be. So folks, there's a lot of options here. I just wanted to bring these to you real quick. Again, if you want me to go into greater detail, just comment down below and let me know, showing that there's interest in those, so I know which direction to go, as well as click the link or check the link in the description, because I'll put a link to the side hustle database for anybody who's interested in getting started. You guys take care, be safe. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.